All right, guys, what's up? We are back with the 4th and 26 Philly Sports Podcast. As always, we got Dirty Mike and Cobbs Creek Beef with us. What a great Monday, Beef. How you?
How many fourth downs do you want, dog? How many?
As many as they'll give us. As many as they'll give us on a penalty. Um, well, I don't even know where to start with it, but I guess my initial reaction to that game, and I've been watching some of the sports talk today, and it all seems to be centered around such bad luck. It would have been great to see the 49ers at full strength. Well, guess what? There was a reason that they weren't at full strength because we beat them physically into submission. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was unbelievable. You're absolutely right. I don't want to hear crying from anybody who, is calling, for any type of like, this was, had we had our quarterback at full strength, we would have been able to take them. It was a shame that he got hurt, and then our backup got hurt. Josh Johnson, he's been with like 14 teams,
yeah.
dude. You're kidding me, right? That was your backup. You know what Seth Jordan says? He says, "Let me see how good the backup is on the other team." That's his like defensive mantra, and he's right.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't know about you, but we've been watching football around the same amount of time, but I don't remember ever seeing a game where a team just physically destroyed a team to where how we always joke chop a leg off and then lean on them. They chopped both legs off and they had both arms tied behind their back. I've never seen a team just physically dominate a team to where they're on Christian McCaffrey as a possible quarterback option after knocking out, Bosa, Warner. I know they came back, but they weren't the same. Warner was a shell after that, like the second play of the game, and Bosa, I felt like they were scraping him off the field every other play. Kelsey dominating them. I mean, they physically beat them into where they could do nothing but run the ball. I can't think of a more of a domination statement than that.
And the evidence in that huge, massive defeat was you could see it in the fourth quarter when everyone started getting chippy, when they
Yeah.
started throwing Kayvon Wallace around. Like, do you think, side question, and it kind of sucks because there's no real immediate, maybe a fine, but do you think that Williams should be suspended for a game next season
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely
for
think he
that
should.
throw?
It was absolutely unnecessary. He could have really hurt him. I
Dude, he
mean,
was a criminal. That was like assault.
it really was the way as big as he is to throw
Yeah.
to throw him down like that. I mean, he weighs almost double what he weighs. I mean, he absolutely should be facing a suspension. I think a lot of people are going to get the letter in the mail for the fines, but he's going to get a suspension for sure, and he
At
deserves
least
it.
one game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be okay with one game, but he definitely needs to have something. But it was just a great win. And what I liked about the game was they saw that the passing game wasn't working. Because I mean, let's give credit to the 49ers where they deserve it. Their defense was very, very fast. They were clogging up the passing lanes for Jalen Hurts to where, you saw him. He was throwing a lot of balls away. He was, running around. He just wasn't having that first read open like he kind of normally does, getting rid of the ball in, 2-3 seconds. He was really having to hold on to it and, kind of escape out of the pocket. And, they were probably the fastest defense I've seen the Eagles play this year. So, I mean, let's give them credit where it's due, but I mean, I like that they changed up the game plan and just leaned on the run like they do. I mean, they have four legit options at running back between Jalen Hurts, Boston Scott, and Booby and
Gainwell.
Gainwell. And Gainwell's really come on.
14 carries or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean they're just dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and just what Hassan Reddick is doing is just it's unreal. I mean, we were young when Reggie White was playing. We were young. I mean, I do remember the tail end of his career more so, when he was on the Packers, but I do remember him as an Eagle from the late 80s. But, Hassan Reddick's having one of the most dominant years on defense that I can remember any Eagle player having. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like watching like a combination of, good Lord. You can get a whole bunch of people in there. Like, Would be a nice. It's like watching I don't know, kind of like watching Lita Shepherd, but with like the defensive, like on the line. He's just quick. He knows where to go, and he'll hit you super hard. And he's not that big. He's only like 6'2",
Yeah,
maybe like 240.
yeah, he's like
Not
my
that big.
size. He's like my
Yeah, I know.
size.
I mean, I know Lito was a quarterback, but he could kill you if he. So Sheldon Brown, same idea. He hits with secondary speed, and that's what I love about Hassan Reddick.
And he has a knack for the ball too, just
Yeah,
forcing
exactly.
fumbles.
He's a hawk.
He is just a ball hawk, getting the ball out of there. He's not just going for. You saw that other play right when they brought Johnson in the game, and he sacked him right away and rolled over him and took the ball from him. I mean, that was a borderline fumble right there. I mean, he probably was down by contact, but the ball was changing hands as he was, going down. I mean, just how aggressive, the whole team plays. It was death by 1,000 cuts. It really was.
And I was going to say, and I don't want to hear anything about Kyle Shanahan being a genius. How's he going to send up tight ends to try to block defensive ends? You know what I'm saying? Tackles. Like, what are you, crazy? Like, the tight ends will get their asses whooped, or they'll whiff on the block, which happened also.
Absolutely. He's too quick for a tight end for sure. He'll get right around them. He was absolutely killing them. But, I think the big play of the game that really set the tone was that Devontae Smith catch. The so-called catch, not catch. And just,
it was not a catch?
It was not a catch, but, he got right up. He was signaling. You didn't see this because you were listening to on the radio.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
You may have seen
the
highlights. Yeah, he got up and immediately started doing, I guess that's their signal to, rush to the line of scrimmage.
That's what Merrill was saying, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to get them up there, and that was just such a big play. I mean, that was fourth down right there. If they didn't convert that, they would have had the ball, closer to midfield, and, who knows what would have happened.
That was such an amazing catch. That's my man.
Yeah.
Slim Reaper, dude. Strikes again. It was like watching Corey Clement.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of.
He has some of the greatest hands in the NFL, I got to tell you.
And body control. We were talking about it first
absolutely,
time.
Absolutely. The body control near the sidelines, just contorting around. He everything he touches just sticks to his hands, and, it was just amazing to watch for sure. And we got one more to go.
And it's funny because even when they tied it up, I don't think I was feeling worried or I was scared. I was getting a little irked when they kept going back and forth with the punting.
Yeah,
but then when they hit Kern with the what was it, the running into the kicker or the punter? When I saw that, I was like, all right, we're going to score on this one, and then I think we're going to clean everything up.
You're right, because after the first drive, they had 3 straight drives where it was pretty much them inside the 10-yard line, run 3 plays, punt, they get the ball around midfield, do nothing, punt it back, and that's just the way it was going. And that's what I said to Riley. I was just like, I almost hope that they just get a field goal on this drive just so we can get like normal field position and get a chance for a kickoff at that point, because I was sick of watching that shit.
Yeah, break the tension, you know what I mean? They almost got the safety. You remember that?
Yeah, they did. That was really close, and that was good. That was about the only play Bosa did the whole game.
Yeah. And luckily, he got out.
I've never seen anybody play a read option like that either. Usually what they do is they'll pick like one or the other, and I wonder if more people are going to kind of do that in the future. Instead of picking one or the other, he grabbed both of them. He grabbed one with each hand. And I've never seen anybody, maybe it's just his skill level because he is such a talented defender, but I've never seen anybody defend a read option like that. And I was like, wow, that's actually a really effective way to, defend that. Don't pick one, just grab both of them. If they're, within arm's reach of them, just grab both of them and hold on and see who takes it.
Yeah, it's a hell of a strategy. I also wanted to mention this about Shanahan. We were talking about the defense earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Number 1 defense, blah, 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 this, that, and the Z, X, Y, and the third.
Yep.
Get all that. Did you see, if you look a little deeper, which is what I always encourage our fans to do, they're 20th in the red zone. They might be first, overall, but if they're 20th in the red zone, if they're below the 50th percentile, of course we're going to score touchdowns instead of field goals. And that's what led them to try to throw it, try to get with, crazy with the trick plays. I know they had no choice at that point.
Yeah, they had no choice. Yeah,
Who you gonna get? Fuck Kyle Juszczyk over here?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Kansas City is ranked 31st in red zone defense, so they're even worse. So if I really believe Jalen Hurts is going to have a much bigger game in better weather, another couple weeks of rest, and that's what wins games: touchdowns, not field goals.
Especially like when you're playing high-powered offenses, like what the Niners had been and what the Chiefs could be.
Yeah. Well, also I want to talk about the penalties and how they kept shooting themselves in the foot, and part of that is undisciplined football, but also a part of it is they were getting beat. When you get beat, that's when you reach, you grab them, you hook them because you get beat. And that was happening a lot on that drive. That was, that drive. I think we got 4 first downs, with penalties. That was about the most I had ever seen on a drive. I mean, but they were getting beat. Dallas Goedert beat them once or twice, and drew some penalties. And that's the strength of our offense, that they have to resort to that.
They had like 3 delay of game penalties, Foods.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing you could do. I mean, Josh Johnson had only played 2 snaps this year, so now you didn't see this on. I don't know if Merrill talked about this or not because I wasn't listening to him, but there was a couple plays where he was just holding his ears and he was telling the coach, "I can't hear you." The fans were getting that loud that he wasn't getting the play call, and
yeah, maybe when he bobbled the snap, maybe it was the wrong count. He wasn't paying attention. Whatever, that's fine.
I'll take it any way we could do it. But their defense held tight. But it was death by 1,000 cuts. We had the ball for almost 38 minutes. That's a whole nother quarter of the game that we had the ball. I mean, what are they going to do? You can only defend.
Yeah, TOP was huge. Yeah, TOP is immense there.
Absolutely.
In the playoffs, especially.
Absolutely, and we are also the first team in NFL history to win 2 straight playoff games by scoring more than 30 points and giving up less than 10.
Yeah, the only one that comes close was the late 80s San Francisco team with Joe Montana.
Yeah.
We did it twice.
Yeah,
23 and Super Bowl 24.
Like, we're not just beating teams, we're physically dominating teams. And exactly. So, I mean, the fact that we scored 31 points on them, scored 4 touchdowns, which was also tying an NFC record, NFC Championship game record. Mahomes is good. They're going to have a tough time. They're going to have a tough time defending us for sure in the Super Bowl. I wanted to talk to you before we talk about like any Super Bowl or predictions or anything. I've been seeing some things going around today about a conspiracy theory about Lane Johnson. Have you seen any of that or heard any of that?
No, I don't think I've heard the newest one.
Emmanuel Acho started it, talking about how Lane Johnson is jumping off sides on every single play, getting a head start. Let me see if I got...
Somebody would notice that.
Yeah, here we go. I got some...
How would that go unnoticed?
Well, of course, when you slow it down in slow motion, look at the screen I'm about to... can you see the screen I just shared?
Not yet.
Oh, here we go. Can you see it now?
Nothing has come through yet. No. I'll riff while you're looking. But anyway, yeah, I'll tell you what. If their timing is that crisp, where it just looks like he gets a half-second snap early, jump, then bully for our team. And I'll tell you the other thing. We've also played once in Arizona already, and we took over that stadium when we played at the Cardinals. What do you think we're going to do this fucking time?
Yeah. Absolutely, and
take that stadium over too.
I was listening. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so here was just one of the examples of it right here. Now this is super slow motion. To me, this looks like exact timing.
Yeah.
Wait,
it looks like he started his kick slide right as the ball was starting to be heaved in the snap.
Here's another one.
You have to enlarge it. Yeah, okay, that's better.
Yeah, I mean he's starting to kick step back as soon as the ball's getting snapped. It looks like, and to me that looks like just perfect timing. We'll do it one more time, and also
Yeah.
this is super slow motion though. This is like a quarter speed right here that we're looking at. So of course everything looks like. I'm having some issues with it. I'll just get off of it, but I think it's a bunch of
It's
BS.
good. Yeah, honestly, that's situational football too, because the first one I wasn't sure what the down and distance was, but the second one was 3rd and 15 backed up against your own end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he wants another false start penalty to back him up more, I think they were fine.
I think it was too. And referees don't see it in super slow motion like that. They view it as one fluid thing, and it's obvious. You can see when somebody jumps. So, Emmanuel Acho has been talking shit the whole playoff run about the Eagles are going to lose, how they haven't played anybody yet. So he's just digging for more crap, and he used to be an Eagle.
I know. It's a shame. About a little loyalty.
Yeah, he doesn't have any loyalty to us for sure. But it was just a great win, and we got a couple weeks off. Have you heard anything on Landon Dickerson?
They were saying something earlier. He said he was okay. It was nothing crazy. Like, like he seemed like he was feeling fine. I didn't catch all the press conference, but everyone who started for the game for the first day
Yep,
started in this one,
they did.
and there hasn't been any injuries that are reported, like how Brock Purdy's injury was reported.
Yeah.
So
I saw it's an elbow.
yeah,
When I saw it happen live, I said to Riley and Lisa, that reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, I think it was against the 49ers, actually another 49ers game. Do you remember when Ty Detmer dislocated his elbow?
that was so long ago. Oh my God,
Well,
you're really going back.
well, it reminded me of that because now Ty was flipping, he was flopping on the ground like a fish, but I've seen doctors say that dislocating your elbow is one of the most painful, like bone injuries or joint injuries that you can have. And it kind of reminded me a little of that. Like he wasn't flopping, but he was like really holding it to where like it just kind of it reminded me of that.
Right.
Although,
Well, I didn't hear anything crazy like that, and I was listening to like the Players Lounge when I was working tonight and driving around, and they were talking pretty casual. So I don't think, I mean, nothing that 2 weeks of rest shouldn't cure.
yeah, I would think so too. You rest him for a couple weeks, even if he doesn't practice another day before the game. At this point, he doesn't need it for
Yeah,
sure.
same thing for Lane. I think he might have re-aggravated something, but I'll tell you, you only need him for one more game,
One
and then
more.
do whatever you want,
Yep. I mean, that's a man right there playing
dude.
through a torn groin. I mean, my God, have you? I know you've pulled your groin quite a lot over the years, but
I pulled it last night.
absolutely. But have you ever pulled it from a sports injury, like playing
Yeah,
soccer or
sometimes
anything?
I remember. I remember one time it actually was disc golfing. It was a while ago when we were just starting out, and nothing crazy. I slipped on mud
Yeah,
on a drive, and it twisted me up.
yeah,
And for like the rest of the day, it wasn't even that bad, but boy, oh boy, and
yeah.
it's tight. It feels tight. It's like stinging tight.
It is, and it's reactionary. Like when you move, like you feel it. So what Lane Johnson is going through right now. Having to block at the high level he is. That he's in a lot of pain. He's got to be in a
Sure.
lot of pain, but
Yeah.
he's a lot of times. I don't want to call football players out because a lot of it's up to doctors. Advice, taking them out of games, not letting them play. But you ain't telling Lane Johnson he's not going to play.
Kudos to Vontae Maddox too. My man looked
He
great, dude.
did. He absolutely did.
Didn't skip a beat. It looked great. I saw him after he made a huge hit on like a third down, and he's over there toe tapping on the ground, like easy with the toes, buddy. But apparently was fine.
Yeah. And Patrick Mahomes, he was looking really hurt last night. He was looking
Oh
hurt.
my God! I mean, dude, he was hobbling around. I don't know how they won that game. I know how they won that game. Dingleberry on the Bengals.
That was all.
You can't do that.
You know
That
what though?
defensive end or that tackle or linebacker, wherever he was.
I was flip flopping back and forth during the game of who I wanted to play. Part of me wanted to play the Chiefs because he's hobbled. They're missing a lot of receivers. People are really hurt on their squad, and he's not going to be full steam. He's not going to be full strength for it. But then if we played the Bengals, do we want to have to deal with Jamar Chase and T Higgins and that deep threat? And ultimately, that penalty at the end of the game to put them in field goal position, that was almost like a little gift for us because that hurt him a little bit more.
And you know what? That would have been a 60-yard kick. And he probably would have gotten Bucker, right? Isn't that their kicker on
Yeah,
Kansas City?
he was short in pregame warm-ups from 55
That's
from that side of the field, so I don't think he would have
right.
hit 60. I don't think he
You
would
don't
have
think,
hit.
okay, because somebody was mentioning that he was on like the different,
Yeah,
that not the good side to kick to,
yeah,
because Arrowhead Stadium sucks. There's wind coming all
yeah.
over the place.
Oh, all over. It's coming all
All
over
the
your face.
fucking.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have hit that for sure, and I think they would have ended up going into overtime, and I wouldn't have been surprised if the Bengals would have won it if that went to overtime with the new rules and everything. But we get the Chiefs. What's your initial reaction? How you feel about it?
I'm actually knowing what I know how Andy operates.
Yeah,
God love Andy Reid, but his game management
always been an
foibles,
issue.
like his ability to implode on himself, and I think we're just too much of a juggernaut, Foods. They
Yeah.
just, even with 2 weeks of rest on their end, I think once we get to Arizona, I think it's in Glendale, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Once they see again, like obviously, there'll be a mix, but the birds are going to take over like they did in 52, and they're just going to. Again, I don't think that's good. Remember, I was like, I think the San Francisco game was going to be in the 30s. I knew it was, I don't think we're going to be in the 30s this time, but I could see 27 to like 14, 27-17. I could see a score like that, like kind of closer to how I think you had like we had predicted for the Giants and
Yeah.
all that, or the NFC
Yeah.
Championship game.
Yeah.
I think that would be appropriate for that one.
I think the over under is 48.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and we're -3.
yeah, yeah, we moved from even. It was a pick 'em, and everybody jumped right on us right away. The money went to the Eagles, and it's smart money. I think it's real smart
Sure.
money.
I thought we would open at like 2 or 3. Now that we got there, that makes more sense.
Yeah, yeah. And I see us scoring a little bit more. I mean, if we put up 31 on San Fran's defense, Kansas City does not have anywhere near the type of defense. I can see us scoring 38 to 41 in this game. I see it to be a high scoring game. I
What
think
did you say? 38 what?
I think 38 or 41 points we're going to put up. I could see this being a 38 to 28, 38, 31 kind of game. I think it's going to end up being close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I would love to see it be a blowout. There's nothing I would love to see more than the game being over by halftime.
Just like Super Bowl 24, I think it was like 55-10 by the time the final score was over. They just kicked the crap out of the Broncos.
Yeah, that was
game
San Fran and the Broncos, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was terrible. And then the next year was the Norwood kick, the Norwood miss.
I was watching that game over my grandma's house, right off of Copley Road in Upper Darby on Pine Street. Not far from where we used to live, actually.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly where. Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to be Super Bowl 57. Going to be an interesting Super Bowl, and they have 2 weeks to work out every storyline. You got the Kelsey brothers, you got Kelsey Bowl. You know what I mean? We got the old teacher, the old dog, Andy Reid coming in for another bout. To play against his old team. That's another angle they'll play on. They'll play with this angle, the San Fran angle, for at least a week until everyone gets tired of it, and they'll move on from that one.
Yeah,
So
this is also the first. And I was listening to Herm Edwards talking about this at lunch today, and I don't even think this is something that should be discussed anymore, but it is historic, so I guess you do have to, mention it. But this is the first Super Bowl with two African American starting quarterbacks in history as
Yeah.
well. And that's what he was saying. 10 years from now, hopefully we won't have to preface things by saying that. So, hopefully as a society we will get to that point, relatively soon. But especially with Black History Month, it's definitely something
Sure.
worth mentioning for sure.
That's a point to bring up. I don't think it. I mean, obviously, yeah, it just so happens that they're both, black, which is, that's fine.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think that the fact that they're both super young is even cooler than that.
Yes, it's
I think that they're both, they don't even add up to 50
it's
practically.
no, it's the youngest combined age. Before I think it was Marino and Montana, and that was
Good. And you
Marino's
know what?
rookie.
This is good because we need fresh blood in the NFL. Please. We need it.
Well, look at the fresh blood we do have now between Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. I mean, especially in the AFC, man, that's going to be tough for the next 10, 12 years. Rodgers is at the end of his career. Brady's, most likely done, or, who knows where he's going to end up. But, what other big quarterbacks in the NFC do you see being a roadblock for the Eagles for the foreseeable future? Like who would scare you in the NFC right now? It's not Dak.
No, and it's funny you say that because I was just thinking today, even this year, the NFC was kind of trash.
Yeah, I mean,
They weren't good. Like
no.
when half of the teams that got to the playoffs had records of either under 500, 500, or came above 500, how is that a good league? Like, how is our conference good? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at our division, Jalen Hurts is obviously the best quarterback. You go to the NFC North, I mean, who do you have? You have,
yeah,
what's his name? Aaron
Goff,
Rodgers for now.
Goff
Um,
is in, Detroit. Who
yeah.
the hell knows what's going on in Chicago?
Yeah, Justin Fields looks like an okay, running quarterback, but he has no talent around him, so I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
Um,
Vikings are fugazi. We just proved that 2 weeks ago.
yeah, I mean the Vikings are they're Dak Prescott and um, Kirk Cousins. They're in the middle of the pack. They're 10 to 15. They're probably 15 ranked 15 to 20 quarterbacks in the league. They're not in the bottom third, but they're definitely not in the top third. They're in that middle third. Um,
I think if the Cardinals get some decent work around Murray, he might have some sort of chance.
he could. That he needs weapons too.
He
But I
needs,
mean,
and he needs to grow up a little bit as well.
absolutely, Geno Smith. He had a good bounce back year for sure. But he's nobody. He's a nobody anymore in the league. I mean, there's really nobody for the foreseeable future in the NFC that
Yeah,
scares you. As Jalen Hurts is going to have to go up against this guy for the next 10 years. I don't.
exactly. NFC South is a joke. Brady's going to be out of here. There's no quarterback that's any good for the
Carolina.
Panthers, the Saints. I can't even think of the Falcons. We should own NFC conference for like the next 7 years. We really
Absolutely.
should.
Absolutely. And there's a window. Every team has a window. We talked about I feel like this is the Sixers' last year of their window, honestly,
Right.
to be like a top true contender because you're not a contender, you don't win the NBA championship. It's just the NBA that the best teams usually win. You can really name once the playoffs start the top 2 or 3 teams that are most likely going to win. Nobody else really has a shot. Um,
Right.
but the NFL is definitely different. But there's just nobody. This was the first year, truly, I believe, of the Eagles' window. Last year, they were lucky to make the playoffs. They got hot after a poor start, and they ended up sneaking into the playoffs and bowing out in the first round. But this was really the first year I feel like that a championship window was possibly opened, and for them to get to the Super Bowl and hopefully win the Super Bowl in your first year of the window being open. That just, really shows it could be the next 7, 8 years of domination by the Eagles.
Now, and it's funny because obviously the Chiefs have won a Super Bowl recently, but so have we. So there's each team has players they can lean on. I think it's funny that in our squad we have not only the Kelsey and what have you, but we have Sue, Dominic Sue. He won a Super Bowl against the team that we're
We're
playing
playing again.
currently.
Yeah,
So he should help out as well. A lot of good angles, Shoes.
well, if you look at it, this just goes back to Howie Roseman even more. The big hit that Sue did yesterday to injure Johnson, and then Linville Joseph was the one that recovered the fumble of Brock Purdy that knocked him out of the game, where they called it an incomplete pass, and he was smart enough to pick the ball
At least
up,
take possession.
take possession of it. Absolutely.
I thought he was going to run it all the way back.
He should
He
have.
started running and blew the whistle.
If the refs even had it in question, if it was a fumble, they should have let the play run out, and then they could have just replayed it and got the right decision. But, by doing that,
he was halfway to the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was such a heads-up play, and they're two mid-season Howie Roseman signings.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Next year I don't want to get too far ahead, but
right. Let's win this one first, and we'll talk.
Yeah, but I think the defense is going to look different next year, for sure. We're definitely going to lose some people, but I was having this conversation with my son tonight. He was like, "Man, we could really take a step back next year, by losing so many defenders. If Kelsey retires, if Lane Johnson retires, if we lose C.J. Garner-Johnson, if we lose, whoever, we lose on defense, all the free agents we have." And I said, but there is one thing that, goes with winning a Super Bowl. Not only do you lose, some of your coaches and, some of your top players, because they want to get paid, but that you also get free agents that will take less money to come to a championship team.
Right, because they think that there's a chance that they can get one too.
Exactly.
Before their end of their career, right?
Exactly. So you're going to get that player, with some years left that, maybe will take a 1 or 2 year deal to say, hey, let me stick around the squad and let me see if I can, get a Super Bowl with that, and maybe sign for a little bit less than if I went to another team, and then you look at it and you say, the NFC is fairly weak.
Now, did you see the picture of I think it's Donna Kelsey, the mother, have the jerseys? Yeah. It was sewn together, both sides. So the front was Travis and the back was Jason. Good for her. Again, another first. This is the first time that a mother has the kids, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, two first-time brothers have played against each other in the Super Bowl, so
this is going to be fun,
I
can't wait for 2 weeks, man.
I can't wait. I felt like it was such a long wait between the Giants and the 49ers. I'm going to watch one more day of sports coverage of it, sports talk, and I think I'm going to turn it off then until, maybe I'll pick it back up the day before, but I can't listen to the same shit for 2 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was thinking about this. I'll leave you with this thought. I know we don't want to take too much time. But I'll leave you with this. If they're going to do a hype video, right, they did, for the Super Bowl, whatever, I better see, and I'm not kidding, I want to see that video of the Mamba with his kid, holding his kid.
Oh, man.
And celebrating, pictures of I don't know if you saw the weather guy in Oklahoma when he finds out that the Birds won. He's freaking out on the air. I want to see that type of hype. Not a lot of that. I want good hype videos, but I want a little emotion in there. I want the fans to understand what this is about. You know what I mean? Like it's deeper than just a Super Bowl. It's nice, it's great, prestige is great, but this is for the people that make the team what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
And I think that's going to be important.
Yeah. And my closing thought I'll leave you with is I was listening to Ricky Ricardo last night. And I didn't really realize this, but he said that I'm trusting him on this because he would know more than us. But Ricky Ricardo was talking about that the Eagles have actually become the most popular football team in Mexico and Latin and Central America.
And I believe also in Germany and England as well.
Right.
We're huge.
It used to be the Cowboys, the star. So, he was saying that there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to come from Mexico and, to come to the Super Bowl as well. So, I know you said earlier that we're going to take over the stadium. There's a very, very real chance that that's going to happen.
Certainly. I mean, good Lord, they're only a hop, skip, and a jump from Baja.
Absolutely. So we got a little less than 2 weeks to go, and we'll get together and do this probably another time, before
Sure.
the game actually is on, and I can't wait, man.
I know it's going to be a hell of a fortnight, but I'll tell you what, we can do it. We did it once before. We can do it again.
Will you be at a parade? Would you be there?
I was there. I was actually there last time. I went down for a little bit. I didn't get too close. It was tough to get in there, but I was able to get into a decent area where I was able to like wedge myself in. But I don't know if I'd go again. There was a lot of people there, food. I'm talking easy 2 million.
Yeah, I went to the Phillies parade when they
Oh,
won.
it's okay. I was working that day.
Yeah, I was working too. I was stuck working at the Granite Mall till noon, and Lisa was 8 months pregnant at the time, and we got down there right as they were like going into the stadium for like the big pep rally, and just by that point people were throwing beer bottles everywhere, breaking them all over the street. So we had to kind of cut it down early, unfortunately, being that
Right.
she was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, we gotta be careful for that. You hear that, Philly fans? Keep the shenanigans to a minimum. The ballyhoo, the tomfoolery. All right.
Go
But celebrate, but keep it,
celebrate, but keep it safe. Don't do anything stupid.
and don't give the national media anything to use. No fodder.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely get a bad rap with that for sure. But thank you again for joining me, Beef. I'll holler at you.
Absolutely. Great win.
Absolutely, guys, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. We definitely want to grow this channel as much as possible. These are the early days now, and we're not talking for too many people right now, but down the line, we want to get you guys involved with the show once we can start live streaming with it. We'll have that definitely a little more in order for next season for sure. Thanks again, Beef.
You got it. Get it on ground level. Do it now.
Absolutely.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.